Asia and the Philippines. On page 169 he said, it cannot be without significance that the country which stands almost at the geographical center of the Far East, the Philippines, should also be that in which Christianity has taken the deepest root. So the Philippines is not only in the Far East, it is lying almost at the geographical center of the Far East. So when Christ said, I have other sheep, this is the church of Christ that appeared in the Far East. The country is the Philippines. Now, according to the same prophecy, when shall God bring this church of Christ from the Philippines? I read Isaiah chapter 43, verses 5 down to 6. In the King James Version, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give it, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Our question is, when shall God bring this people from the Far East? God said, bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. That is the time element involved in the prophecy. When you say ends of the earth, that is not the same as the end of the earth or end of the world. We have to first find out when is the end of the world or end of the earth. Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? The apostles were asking our Lord Jesus Christ, when is the end of the world? That's why they were asking him, what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? When shall these things be? So end of the earth or end of the world refers to the second coming of Christ. But that is not the time that the church of Christ will be reestablished in the Far East or in the Philippines. God said in the prophecy, and the ends of the earth. When is this ends of the earth? Here is the statement of Christ in Matthew chapter 24 and the verses 33. So likewise he, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Christ mentioned about the doors of His second coming. He said, when you shall see all these things. God said, at the ends of the earth. Christ's word says, at the doors. So the ends of the earth are the doors also of the second coming of Christ. What are the doors or the second coming of Christ? He said, when you shall see all these things. What is the first sign given by Christ? In the same chapter, in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, he said in verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, what was the first sign given by our Lord Jesus Christ? He said, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. What war is the fulfillment of this prophecy of our Lord Jesus Christ? What I'm going to read is an excerpt from a book entitled The Story of the Great War. This is chapter 66, Serbia's Situation and Resources. The first great campaign on the southeastern battlegrounds of the Great War began on July 27, 1914, when the Austrian troops undertook their first invasion of Serbia. This was a book that was copyrighted 1916, 2 years after the Great War. They call it the Great War, but historians later call it the First World War. Another book that says the First World War started on July 27, 1914 is The Nations at War by Willis J. Abbott. Austria, backed by Germany, declared war upon Serbia on the 27th of July. So, the First World War started on July 27, 1914. That is the war mentioned by Christ in 24:6, that you shall hear the rumors of wars. When you shall see all these things, he said, know that I am near even at the doors. The doors are also the ends of the earth. At the same time that we could see the war, we could see the church of Christ reappeared or re-established in the Philippines. What I have here is a copy of the Reconstitution of Records. To all to whom these presents may come, greetings. This is to certify that a copy of the Articles of Incorporation of the Iglesia ni Cristo, dated July 24, 1914, registered on July 27, 1914. The Church of Christ appeared at the same time that the First World War erupted in Europe. Why? Because probably our friend here would say that is just a matter of coincidence. We do not call it a matter of coincidence because it is a divine mandate. It is in the Bible. God used the time ends of the earth. Christ called it the doors, the wars. The war started on July 27, 1914, at the same time that the church was registered with the Philippine government as a religious organization. So I have proven my point here, my beloved friends, that this church is indeed the church established by Christ. They would say that is the church established by Manalo. We do not have that kind of doctrine.